Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Crimson Wrestling Federation. Tonight, the Crimson Brothers review WrestleMania 41, part by part. The first episode, Jey Uso versus Gunther. I am commentator Havoc, the voice of the Crimson Wrestling Federation. And you can see the calls I've made in the Crimson Wrestling Federation, in the comic, Crimson Wrestling Game, Story of Malice, in the description below. On your left is the Crimson Reaper. On your right is the Crimson Blaze.
So first match, so of course we had Jey Uso versus Gunther.
Awful.
Funny we just went over it, but so basically, like I said before, of course we all knew Jey was gonna win, but they just didn't do a good job of like suspending your disbelief. Like, especially like you said before, they did this whole story about how he's supposed to be scared of Gunther, how he's afraid and everything. He doesn't know if he can do it. But you never got that impression like from watching this match. Like the whole time, they pretty much had equal offense. Like it never seemed like Gunther was like way better than him, or like it didn't feel like he was the underdog. And then of course just beating him with a sleeper hold, like Gunther tapping out in 4 seconds. Like so there was never a point in this match where you thought Jay was gonna lose.
I mean, having Gunther lose via sleeper hold via Jey Uso is just insulting to the intelligence of all wrestling fans, because Gunther's that's his whole thing, is putting people in the sleeper hold. But even his opponents never tap out; they fall asleep because the sleeper hold isn't a painful move. It's cutting off your oxygen, so you just pass out. There's no reason to tap out to a sleeper hold. It's like, especially if you're fighting for a world heavyweight championship, especially if you're Gunther and that's your whole character, basically, is putting people to sleep in the sleeper hole. But he taps out. Why does he have to tap? Why can't he just fall asleep? And Jey Uso wins that way. It buries Gunther, but it's also just unrealistic from the perspective of Jey Uso, because like you said, the storyline was that he doesn't know that he's can beat Gunther, and they played this up in storyline. That was what whatever build they had, that was the build, that Jey Uso didn't know if he was good enough to beat Gunther. And then he goes and taps him out to a sleeper hold. I've never seen anybody in the history of wrestling tap out to a sleeper hold. It's
Like it's
absurd.
always been a filler move. Like I feel like I've grown up, I'd see like Cena in a sleeper hold, and it's like one of those filler moves, and kind of like a rest hold.
It's
It
literally a
always kind of felt
wrestler.
like pretty much like, and they'd always, Cena's breaking out of it. Like he'll just like pull the dude's like arms apart. Oh, can you get out the sleeper? And then he just kick him and get out of it. But I've never seen anybody actually lose to a sleeper hold.
It's like if he beat him with a body slam. That's literally the equivalent of it, or a clothesline. Like, oh, 1, 2, 3.
Or DDT.
A DDT, a suplex. I mean, his actual finishing moves are terrible. In he doesn't even do the frog splash. He just jumps on you. It's the laziest shit ever. And his super kick. Those are his moves, right? So his finishing moves are already trashed in the first place. But then he wins with an even more transitional move in a WrestleMania match. Like, if I'm rating the feud and the feud is a 1 out of 5. The match is a 1.5 out of 5.
Yeah, pretty much same. Like, even though I wasn't really watching a lot of the feud, like because I just wasn't that
Well,
interested
I
in
wasn't watching either. I
it.
can't like, well, from what I know about the feud, I'll say that.
But from what I know, from what I've
Because I
seen, it just
can't pretend I
I
was
have
watching.
seen enough though. Like I know just like a bunch of run-ins and Gunther just putting him to sleep every week. Basically, that was kind of the whole feud. And then that one week where he beat up Jimmy, that was the entire feud.
That was probably the best moment of the feud, which they could have done the night after he won the Royal Rumble to set the tone of the feud. You see what I'm saying? So imagine
Yeah.
if Jey Uso wins the Royal Rumble, and then the next night Gunther takes on Jimmy Uso. He beats the shit out of Jimmy Uso, and now everybody's like, "Oh, what's Jey gonna do?" You immediately change Jey Uso into a more serious character the night after the Royal Rumble, and so
Yeah.
now you can build up a serious feud that builds up Jey Uso and Gunther as two serious competitors fighting for the title. But they did
And
it.
also the way they try to make it seem too, like Jimmy Uso, this kind of related. Jimmy Uso, he should have been out way longer because he just came back this week.
Right. With
So
his 15 stitches. But
so they should have made it be like way more brutal, like definitely right after the Royal Rumble, and they could have made it a way more like brutal beatdown. Um, and then also another thing is that it would have actually made the way they did it fell backwards because he was attacking him for weeks, like running in, fighting him for weeks. But after he beats up his brother, then he wants to talk. Like, how does that make sense? So you were
right,
fighting him.
it's just ass backwards because after he beats up Jimmy, then he's like, I realized I'm not afraid of you anymore, Oos. But he had been attacking Gunther
Yeah, you've
every
been
week
fighting him for weeks,
up
but
until
then
that point.
after he attacks your brother, then that's when you don't want to fight him. Like, how does that make sense? It's kind of off topic. The same thing happened with Cody and Cena. So he beat you bloody in front of everybody, 3-on-1, like hit you with your dad's watch, hit you with the championship, and you just want to talk. Like, how does that make sense?
Oh, what do you want to talk about, John?
The only time he finally did attack Cena, like in a promo, is when Cena went after him first. But he should have been like as soon as Cena showed up, like he should have attacked him. And what
But
makes it even stupid, makes it even stupider is, and I haven't seen this brought up. So I think it's when they first started going or doing those European shows. Might have been, I think it was on SmackDown, and it was like he was on Miz TV. He attacked the Miz for no reason. Like literally, there was no reason for him to attack the Miz.
Cody Rhodes.
Like the Miz just kind of like the Miz like he did cut off his entrance. Like he started talking, okay, and he's trying to start like Miz TV and stuff. And then Cody just came and attacked him for no reason. And they're like, oh, I don't want to talk to anybody besides John Cena. But you
See,
just attacked the Miz.
so that okay, that's another thing. That same night, right? He does that. He comes out. He beats up the Miz. He says he doesn't want to talk to anybody but John Cena. But immediately before that, he was wallowing with the crowd and slapping hands with people in the audience. So which is it? Do you not want to talk to anybody, or do you just want to talk to John Cena? Because you were talking to people in the crowd. You were singing and dancing and
Yeah.
interacting with them. But now you're all serious. I don't. It's just who's
And then
writing this?
you attack the Miz, who really did
Who
nothing.
did nothing?
That's really a heel move.
But
Because he
see, okay, we'll get into this later. But when he doesn't want to turn heel against Cena, he was in that same situation a few months ago against Kevin Owens, and he hit Kevin Owens with the crossroads on chairs. But now he can't hit John Cena. It's just there's no consistency. There's no intellectual
he threw Kevin
care
Owens like
into
head
this
first through a
product.
ladder. He threw him
He
like head first
he
through a ladder.
beat the shit out of Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens was cooked. Like he destroyed Kevin Owens. So you can do that, but you can't hit a man with a championship.
After he beat the shit out of you a few months before, it's not that it doesn't make any sense. They just don't care. They haven't put any care or thought into any of this. The wrestlers aren't even consistent in the same segments. The psychology within segments is all off. Never mind week to week or across storylines. Within the same segment, they don't get it right. I've never seen anything like this. But okay, so that was anything else on Jey Uso, Jey Uso and Gunther?
Yeah, pretty much that. Like, I think I was saying before, you were saying like, oh, he's a one note character. You know how all the other world champions, Triple H, Hulk Hogan, Rock, they have
Oh,
like motivations to them, and he's just pretty much a catchphrase. And I was somewhat defending him, like in our first take, I was defending him, saying like basically I think he's a better promo than he is right now. It's just that because the people only expect him to yeet and stuff, that he doesn't do anything else. Like so, like because even when he tries to cut a promo, like when he tries to be serious, people still just go like yeet. So like it's kind of like it is his fault, but it's not his fault because it's all people pretty much want him to do. So like if that's working, then why do anything else?
right.
Like
Well, see, there's nothing wrong with being somebody like Jey Uso and having a catchphrase and not being developed in other areas. Like there's a million wrestlers like that. There's nothing wrong with that, and they're in the mid card. The problem is WWE gave him a world championship.
Yeah.
and and so okay, it's really an insult to the Undertaker and Stone Cold and The Rock and Triple H and Kurt
And he's
Angle.
still even when he does cut, solid promos, he's still not at that level. And obviously, but
Right, not even close. He
but he
is
still can be good, but it's just like it's the same thing that put him over. It's what's like put him down at the same time because like he literally can't do anything else because like that's all people want to see him do.
See,
So
even
like,
somebody like Kofi Kingston, when he, which I wasn't watching WWE at this time either, but when he won, it's like, okay, like he can wrestle. Like nobody doubts that Kofi can wrestle, you know, and in the world of kayfabe and professional wrestling, it wouldn't be surprising if Kofi Kingston won a championship. Like he's been on the roster forever. Yada yada yada. Like, okay, there could be a set of circumstances in which Kofi Kingston becomes the champion.
that championship reign was pretty bad too, by the way. That was a pretty bad.
Well, they always.
The story was good. I did like the story. Um, I know you weren't watching during the time, but it was kind of like your basic underdog story, but they kind of put like some racial undertones into it. Like he was getting at Vince McMahon, like, oh, you don't want people like me to succeed. And Vince was saying, like, oh, he's like, he's not a superstar, like B+ player. So I did like the story and the build up to that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, like I said, I wasn't watching, so I can't say, but I don't doubt that the story was better than the Jey Uso story.
But it was definitely way better than this. That story was at least a 4 out of 5. The Gunther Jay thing, like you said, was like a 1 out of 5.
Yeah, and that might be being generous, but so Jey Uso being world champion is a slap in the face to all of their other guys that they've had. But it's just the definition of brain rot. Jey Uso pointing at the WrestleMania sign is the definition of brain rot because all of those other guys that they had, from Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, Mankind, Chris Jericho, they all had motivations and characters that were at least somewhat consistent, and they were human in some way that is relevant to the story that they were telling. And Jey Uso is none of that. It's just a catchphrase. It's just a song and a catchphrase. I don't like. it's I can't support it.
I'm world
I can't
champ.
watch it. I can't
world
watch
champ.
it. You can't have watched Kane and The Undertaker and The Big Show and DX and then watch Jey Uso and accept it and not be disgusted by what wrestling has become. You just can't do it. In my opinion.
I went into WrestleMania. Yeet. I became your world champion. Yeet. And now I'm about to be champ forever. Yeet.
Play my music, Oos.
Yeet.
They should honestly, they should just, since the champions don't defend the titles anyway, why not just have him go out there every week cut a 2-minute promo and a 10-minute sing-along for a year?
That's what he's been doing. That's basically what he's been doing this whole time. Well, maybe not so much like until WrestleMania or like the WrestleMania build, but he'd be out like for like at least 5 minutes, like just yeeting.
See,
that's all he does.
If I was Triple H, I would have had that title taken off of him by Braun Breaker the next night. But since it's Triple H, Jey Uso is going to get a year-long title reign.
Oh God. I didn't like Cody's year-long title reign. So like, and I mean Cody, at least there's some good stuff about Cody, but I don't see how you can have a good Jey Uso title reign.
I think he's going to get a year-long. The way that he beat Gunther signals to me that they're going to take this seriously, that this isn't just a moment. They're going to actually try to build a story. Now, I want you to think about how bad of a booker Triple H is and how mid of a wrestler Jey Uso is, and combine that with them trying to build Jey Uso into a credible champion. And you'll see why I'm not watching WWE anymore, because I'm not going to waste my time. Like, I'm not going to waste my time with this nonsense anymore.
Who is he gonna, I don't know like what the next feud even is, like what the plan is. Well, really, it has to be Gunther, I guess, because of the rematch clause. If anything,
they don't get rematch. I mean, Roman never.
That's what it should be.
I
don't know
mean,
who he faces though. Is he going to face Priest?
even Shinsuke Nakamura didn't get his rematch for the US. Like nobody gets rematches anymore except Rhea Ripley. She's the only person that can get a rematch.
Take back my title that I never lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want give me back my title.
This is gonna be a mega rant. This is gonna be like 4 hours, and this will be the WrestleMania mega rant or something.
For more of the Crimson Brothers, follow the Crimson Wrestling Federation today. I'm commentator Havoc, the voice of the Crimson Wrestling Federation.